quite satisfied with the training I've been able to put in leading up to my 50-mile race. I had some solid training blocks in September, October and November leading up to my self-supported 100k run. Following the effort and the spirit of the season, I took some downtime in December. My training has been consistent since the start of the new year. I had around 2 to 3 hours dedicated to training depending on how early I would get up. This would mean that I could not do my usual long runs, but I ran fairly long every day, around 15 kilometers. Since the new year, I have followed my standard training plan, which is Tuesday is tempo runs, Thursday is interval sessions, and everything else are just zone 1 to 2 runs. Usually my weekend, Saturday and Sunday would be used to do my long runs, my back-to-back long runs, but I have not been able to dedicate that much time to it. I always do some warming up before every session. I start with some dynamic stretching, and every tempo and interval session is preluded by around 20 minutes of easy running. I only stretch after some runs if I feel the need to. I've been wanting to integrate strength training and cross training into my running practice, but it always just felt more important in the moment for me to spend my time on running instead. During my training leading up to the 50-miler, I broke my 10-kilometer personal best. After that effort, I felt some discomfort in both of my knees, primarily the left one. And I've come to realize that I am willing to train hard and I'm willing to dedicate a lot of time to running. And if I want to progress further, I need to incorporate strength training to truly optimize my abilities. Let's talk about the race. The race is a 80-kilometer loop around the Roskilde Fjord. There's a little over 400 meters of elevation gain throughout the run, so it's a relatively flat course. There are 7 aid stations on the course, offering water, juice, chips and different kind of energy products. These aid stations are placed at 11 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 31 kilometers, 41 kilometers, 57 kilometers, 66 kilometers and 74 kilometers. Participants have the option to use drop bags at 20 kilometers and at 57 kilometers. This is what I will be wearing at the start line. Shorts, hat, gloves, long socks, 2 thin buffs and a wool long sleeve. These are my 2 tools for carrying all my food, fluid and extra gear. Let's start with the Salomon Pulse belt. I got my telescope monopod, four gels, my phone plus a Ziploc bag, toilet paper and lip balm. In my Salomon Advanced Skin 12-liter pack, I got 2 500 milliliter soft flasks, my Insta360 Ace Pro, my Insta360 X3, a caffeine gel, peanuts, salt tablets, and my little first aid kit. I have saved a bunch of weight on my first aid kit compared to the previous versions that I have used. I have decided to strip my first aid kit down to the bare minimum, which is some lube on a stick, some Imodium and sports tape. vest weighs in at 1860 grams, including 1 liter of water, and the pulse belt weighs in at 750 grams. These are the shoes I've chosen for the race day. I'm gonna start off in these very broken old Hoka Speed 2 shoes. The race description says that there is a possibility to get wet feet in the first 20k of the course, so that's why I'm starting in these old broken shoes. Notice the beautiful tape added for strength. The plan is to switch to these Salomon shoes once the wet section is over. They are currently one of my favorite running shoes. I get a good grip in them. They feel very light, and they are cushioned enough to last 60k of running. I'm gonna have my Hoka Speed Goat shoes as a backup should I want to run in some more fresh shoes towards the end. Drop bags. There are 2 aid stations where there will be access to our drop bags. One at 20k and one at 57k. This is my drop bag for the 20k aid station. My Salomon shoes with the plastic bag to keep the inside of my drop bag clean. Some lube, long socks, a nutritional goodie bag, 4 gels to have some options, 1 caffeine gel, a Cliff Bar, a chew, and some spare batteries for my cameras. This is my second drop bag for the 57k aid station. My Speed Goat shoes, again with the plastic bag to keep the inside clean. A spare set of clothes consisting of a fleece long sleeve shirt, some long thighs, some long tights, a t-shirt, shorts and long socks. All my clothing tends to get quite wet when I'm running because I sweat a lot. So putting on some dry clothes can really make a huge difference for me mentally, especially if I should start to feel cold towards the end. I got another nutritional goodie bag identical to the one in my other drop bag, some lube and some spare batteries. I got this rain jacket that I'm thinking about keeping in my running vest, but the weather forecast predicts it to get quite warm, and if I can avoid the extra 250 grams, I probably will. My race strategy. I aim to consume a gel every 15 minutes throughout the course. Meanwhile, I'm gonna be sipping on some juice or some sport drinks. I've calculated that this should put me at around 120 carbs an hour if I don't eat anything from the aid stations. However, I plan to grab some candy and maybe some salty snacks if I should suffer from flavor fatigue. Also brought this small portion of peanuts with me should I be very tired of all the sweetness from the different gels and candies. I find it hard to estimate a finish time because I've been steadily increasing my abilities throughout the last 2 years. My last run was a 100-kilometer run, and it was completely self-supported, so the weight had a very big impact on my actual finishing time. So I find it very difficult to estimate my finish time because this is going to be the first time I have access to an aid station. My dream time would be around 8 hours or less, but I have some friends that estimated a finishing time of 9 hours or maybe more, so I really don't know what to expect. My previous PB for 80 kilometers is 9 hours and 45 minutes. So I believe I can cut off more than 45 minutes of my PB. I'm not gonna run after a specific pace. I am gonna let my heart rate dictate at what pace I'm gonna run. So I aim to stay at zone 1 to 2 throughout the entire run, maybe dipping into zone 3 sometimes. This is my strategy for the beginning of the race, but if I got some energy left in the tank during the last third or fourth of the race, I'm going to try and push my pace a bit. It is currently 4 a.m. and it is race day. So, time to make some coffee. Here are some last race day additions to my pack. The handheld water bottle, just in case I would like to get the pack off. 2 carb drinks for after the effort, and my headphones. I've chosen to make the plan that I am allowed to listen to music once I've passed the halfway point. That's where the decline sort of starts, and I need to hold on for dear life. Oats with a lot of syrup and coffee. A little favorite trick of mine to do for race day is to put a little bit of Vaseline on all the spots that might shave. So in between the toes, for example, and the outside of the big toe, I just find it to lubricate the motion that is going on, because there's always going to be a bit of motion between the toe and the sock and the shoe. All my stuff is packed. I'm like 90% sure that I got everything I need with me. I'm really looking forward to my first race. Just gonna be a really exciting day. A full 8 hours of nature around the fjord. Some drives I just wish could last forever. I know there's 20 minutes until I'm there, but at the moment I would actually like my car to never arrive. Currently it's all just a dream. The time I want to achieve is just a dream, and there's this air of excitement and possibility. Maybe I'm gonna go much quicker than I anticipated. Maybe I'm gonna go much slower, but all things are still possible. It's just really cozy driving at the moment. If it would be possible, I would just like to drive and never arrive, and just be in this constant moment of excitement. We're about 5k in. Everything is going quite smoothly. Pace is feeling good. Body's feeling fresh. And it's just a really beautiful morning. I'm looking forward to how things are gonna progress from here. Got a heart rate of 145. 544 minutes per kilometer.
I just did my first breakaway ever. I felt like I could go a bit faster on the previous sections, and I was kind of stopped by people in front of me. So when we hit the aid station at around 11 kilometers, I made a break for it, just grabbed 4 gels and quickly moved along. If there comes a similar section soon, I'll be able to cover it at my own pace. It's interesting having a strategy, making plans, and having thoughts about pacing and racing and stuff like that. Almost 13 kilometers in. My heart rate is currently at 154, 5 minutes 26 seconds per kilometer, and I'm feeling fresh. The gels I grabbed taste like shit. Yeah, it's a really beautiful day. Just made a slight navigational error, resulting in me coming all the way to the middle of the pack I just broke away from, which really sucks. But I managed to break away again, and I just really enjoy the silence of running in between groups. We're 18k in, so 3k until we're at the aid station, and I'm probably gonna use a little time to change socks and change shoes. There's probably a bunch of gunk trapped inside my shoe. Just passed the second aid station, and I felt like I did quite good time-wise. Just a full bottle of water, full bottle of juice, 4 gels, also changed shoes, socks, and then I was out of there. That all went well. Looking forward to see if I start to fade at some point. I'm feeling quite strong at the moment. currently at 27.8k. There's a slight breeze cooling me a bit down at the moment, which is really great. It's kind of hot today. It's just really a beautiful sight, this giant bridge. We're slowly but surely approaching halfway, so really looking forward to listening to some music while running. So we're at 34k, just past an aid station, filled up water and juice because it's gotten surprisingly hot. I'm using one of my buff / bandana as a cooling device by putting some water on top of it, and that is currently greatly helping my ability to withstand the temperatures, even though I look stupid. We're slowly creeping up to 40k. In general, I'm a bit slower than expected, not really on time for the sub 8 hour, but I'm still quite satisfied because I'm not fading as much as I had feared. I'm managing to keep in my carbohydrate intake, so about 120 carbs an hour, which is almost a challenge in itself. I'm struggling a little. 37.3k. Just at the turnaround point. Just at the turnaround point. I just took off my wool sweater and oh my god, what a difference that made. I went from struggle city to being ready for the last half. 40 kilometers, less than 0.5 kilometers left until I can listen to some music, and that's where the race is gonna start. Yeah, we just passed the halfway point. I'm currently listening to some beautiful low-key ambient music and just grinding away at the kilometers. We're at 43 kilometers and my heart rate is really low, 138. I'm struggling a bit to increase the pace because physiologically I should be able to do it, but my legs feel quite heavy and tired. I kind of have a strategy of ditching my vest at the next aid station, put it into my drop bag and just going handheld because the weight is really getting to me. This is going to be the longest stretch, the between 2 aid stations. From there on, it's gonna be 10 kilometers or less. I'm kind of struggling to get down the carbs at the moment. I just ate a cola gel and it was so disgusting. I can't even think about it. All is well. I'm feeling great, all things considered. Just had TP break and now it feels much better. Seems like the gums, the chews I picked up at the previous aid station had caffeine in them. We're at 48.5 kilometers, feeling somewhat good, somewhat motivated, and trying to push the pace a bit to begin to focus on finishing strong. My legs seem to have different ideas about how this race is gonna end, but I'm definitely feeling like I'm able to run all the way, and I'm for sure gonna break my previous 80k BEB. So what more could I want out of this day? I'm at 53k and it is currently Struggle City, population 1. I think this is probably gonna be the hardest part because it's the biggest gap between 2 aid stations. Yeah, that's just some value in having reached the next aid station, and the idea that it's gonna get easier from there on. I try just to embrace the moment and don't wish my life away, not wishing that I would be at the next aid station, just appreciating the small things, like the last gel I ate didn't taste too bad. My goal of 8 hours is probably not possible at this given moment anymore. Sub 9 hours is quite achievable. I got like a 30-minute buffer. If I run 6 minutes per kilometer, I got like a 30-minute buffer. I'm just stuck in this little space of eternity between the previous aid station and the next one. Roskilde, it's the end station, the end point of today's run. We're at 61 kilometers, so less than 20 kilometers left, and I just ran the wrong way. I've taken off my vest, and I'm feeling really great. I got a little more than 12k left, and I'm just holding on to dear life to get that sub 9 hour finish. Whew. My legs are totally shut, and it's tough to get anything down. It's tough to climb the hills, and we got 100 meters of elevation gain left, which is a fourth of the wrap. So I'm just holding on to dear life, and hopefully I'll get that sub 9 hour finish. Whew. I have not been able to film anything the last 7 kilometers or 10 kilometers of my run because I was just too focused on hitting my goal. I thought it would be a good idea to make a small recap right now. The race is relatively fresh in memory, so excuse my disgusting hair and my tired attitude. I had 2 goals basically, and one goal was to hit the 8 hour mark, because for some reason I thought running 6 kilometers per hour is reasonably easy, and I could do that for forever. It would be my forever pace, just because I've been able to hit it every morning despite being tired. It's just a pace I'm able to hit with a heart rate of below 140. So it's really easy. It's really like zone 1 effort. But that was not possible. My pace just dropped during the race, so suddenly it became very clear once I had passed 40 kilometers and I could make some easy calculations that 8 hours would not be possible. I thought, 9 hours, that's possible, and that was like a secondary goal, and I thought it would be easy and that I could achieve it without that much effort if I just, held on. At like the 65 kilometer point, I just started making some calculations about how much time I got left, how fast I need to run, and it's beginning to get less and less and less, and I'm really digging into this buffer I had built up. So we hit somewhere around the 7.5k, and I need to hit the 6 minutes per kilometer, or else I'm not gonna make it. And then this buffer sways back and forth. Suddenly I have 2 minutes extra, then I'm a little bit in the minus. I need to go faster than 6 minutes per K. So it becomes very uncertain if I'm gonna be able to hit the sub 9 hour mark. At the point where I got 5k left, I started to get cramps in the right side of my stomach, and I just needed to hold on to the flesh of my stomach to suppress the cramp. I could stop for 10-20 seconds and then it would go away, but it wouldn't take long for it to return. And I suddenly realized I have no time to stop. I need to run continually the last entire section, and the cramps just keep getting worse and keep getting worse. Yeah, that was some of the most painful stuff I've experienced in quite a while. Nothing helps until I hit an uphill section and I realized the stomach cramps disappear. So I figured out that I needed to run hunched over to alleviate my cramps. Suddenly I can see, all right, I'm almost there. I know the way from here now because we've run a big circle and we're getting back to the section where we started. I switch over on my watch so I can see what time I have, and I see suddenly I have only 1 minute left. And I think maybe I have 300 meters or something like that at this point. There are just a lot of people everywhere on the streets there because we're at a bay area. I'm running like around people and trying not to be rude because like I don't own the streets. And I see the finish line and I look at my watch and I got like 20 seconds left, and I just sprint with all my might towards the finish line, and then it suddenly just stopped. Like the race just stopped across the finish line. I got the medal put on, and suddenly all this intensity, all this pain and everything, it just stopped and really mellowed out. I'm so excited about being finished. It's so great. And I had 6 seconds left. My final time is 8 hours, 59 minutes and 54 seconds. So I managed to hit it with 6 seconds left. And yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy that happened, because I got lost a bunch of times on the last 5 kilometers because the GPX file around the forest was not that great, and I needed to climb up some weird places, and suddenly I couldn't open my gels, so I needed to rip them open with the teeth, and yeah, the cramps continued, and yeah, so it's so strange that I somehow managed to hit that sub 9 hour goal. But I did it, and I'm happy, and yeah, I don't think the race could have gone much better. It was really a humbling experience. I think there's something very humbling about being out there, and passing the 40k mark and suddenly realizing, I still got 40k left. This is getting pretty tough. You can get all kinds of ideas about how long you're going to be able to run, and I'm going to tough this out, and I just hit 120 carbs an hour, and then I'm going to do this no problem at all, and sub 8 hours. It's possible. Maybe I'm going to do 7 hour 30. Who knows? Yeah, and that attitude just fades away when you're suddenly faced with the reality of your fitness. Yeah, that's where the dreams meet reality. Yeah, I hit some PBs. It's my fastest marathon, my fastest 50k, and my fastest 80k I've ever run. So that's it. I'm gonna drive home. I'm really exhausted. I want a pizza. I want to lay with my feet high up and drink some soda and watch a movie or something. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.